checkboxes. Checkboxes can get funky, but I'm going to show you real quick the easy way to do it fast and dirty, but it does leave you open to, in weird situations, things getting nutty. And so I'll go into some of the nutty stuff after, but if you just want to know quick and dirty how to make a checkbox work for Boolean, here's the quick and dirty way to do it. First, make sure your field is a number, all right, like taxable here. So it's going to be a Boolean, a 0 or 1. Or actually, technically, it's just going to be a 1, or the field will be empty in this case, the way we're going to do it. So whenever you're going to search for things that are taxable, you need to search for things that have a value of 1 or not 1. You're not going to search for 0 the way we're going to do it. You know, there's a million ways to do anything. But so here we go. Is it taxable? Well, we want this to be a checkbox, all right? So we're going to go checkbox set, and we're going to choose values from, well, it looks like we're going to have to make a value, all right? So it's going to be, value list is going to be 1, and that's it. And we're going to use custom value 1. So whenever it's checked, it will enter a 1. Click OK. So I'm going to show you kind of here exactly how this works a little bit under the hood. All right, so we have a 1 here. And don't worry, we'll clean up our user interface here in a second. But whenever you check a checkbox, it adds the value to the field. And whenever you uncheck it or unclick it, it takes that value away. So when we click it here, bam, it now adds the value 1 to the field taxable, right? So, but for our users, we want this to all be under the hood, all right? So now we're going to get rid of this and this, and we're going to, and how do we get rid of that 1? Because that's confusing, right? Super easy. Duh, you just shrink that little box, and now we've got a checkbox here. That's either 1 or not 1. Now, if you want it to be 1 or 0, you've got to start doing script triggers that invert it, and there's all kind of weird stuff. And then also, if you're wanting a checkbox for things that are not Booleans, that can get crazy too. I'll just show you a quick example of how it can get a little nutty. But if you just want to know how to do a simple 1 or not 1 instance, that's how you do it, and you can stop watching the video. But let me show you how things can get a little bit funky here. I'm going to just move this kind of off to the side here. And let's say we're doing a text. All right, so let's say we're doing inventory type. And you can have multiple inventory types. Or because it's a text field, you can have multiple values in one field. Non-inventoried products, red, Jack, right? And you can have these different values all within the same field. This is 3 different values. Let me spread that out to make that more obvious. All right, so actually let's make that be red, Jack, and down. Oops. There we go. So now we have 3 different values here in inventory type, which I know doesn't make any sense for that. I'm just kind of making a demonstration here. So now when we want to, let's say we're going to bring this over again here just to demonstrate, and we're going to make this be a checkbox. Checkbox set. All right, the values are going to be from, let's make a new value set, and we're going to call this demo, and we're going to just say Jack. All right, because I believe that was one of them, right? And it's just going to say Jack, right? There we go. So now the value is Jack. Well, we already have Jack in there, so it shows checked automatically. If we write another value, Jack, what's going to happen? Boom, nothing. It's saying Jack is in there, right? It's one of the values in the field. Now, if I uncheck this, are all the jacks going to go away? What do we think is going to happen? Let's do it and find out. I hope my computer doesn't blow up. Boom, one of the jacks goes away, and this is still checked, right? So you see, whenever you click here, it just says if there is a value corresponding to this, it removes one of those values. All right, and then I click it again, and there's not going to be any jacks left, so the X will probably go away. I said probably because you never know. All right, and now when I click it again, boom, it puts jack back in, takes jack back out, jack back. So you can see how things can get funky if you start using it for text, if you start using checkbox for text fields and non-boolean situations. But now you kind of understand how they work. So, but for our purposes here, I'm just building our first basic point of sale CRM. We don't need any of that. We can just put a, basically we're putting a 1 into the taxable field or taking it out. You just have to remember that it's not a 0 when it's unchecked. It's just you're putting a 1 in, you're putting a 1 out. It's a very simple way to put things in and out of a field. So anyway, check boxes 101. Claris Filemaker. Bam!